All right, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about the legend of Stingy Jack. But this isn't the ghost story you heard as a kid. No, we're going to treat this as something deeper, like a case study in, well, in self-creation. How a damned soul can literally forge their own godhood through nothing but pure, stubborn will.
So, you probably know the story, right? The trickster spirit, the creepy turnip lantern, wandering alone forever. But what if that wasn't the end of his story? What if that curse, that punishment, was actually the start of something way bigger, way more powerful, and honestly, way more terrifying?
Okay, so before we jump into the really wild stuff, let's do a quick refresher. We gotta start with a legend everyone knows, the classic cautionary tale of the guy who is just a little too smart for his own good.
You see, in life, Jack wasn't just some petty sinner. Oh no, he was an artist of self-interest. His entire life was a masterpiece of deceit and manipulation. He was so good at it, so focused on himself, that his soul just emptied out. There was no goodness left. It wasn't about sin anymore. It was about him fundamentally rejecting any authority other than his own.
And this incredible cunning, it hit its absolute peak when he went head-to-head with the devil himself. Not once, but twice. The devil comes to claim his soul, and Jack traps him. First, he tricks him into becoming a silver coin, and bam, traps him in his pocket next to a crucifix. Then, he gets him to climb an apple tree and carves a cross into the trunk. And both times, Jack makes him promise the same thing: you will never take my soul.
So, flash forward. Jack finally dies. He walks up to the pearly gates, but heaven takes one look and says, nope, there was literally nothing good left inside him to accept. His soul was just this void, hollowed out by a lifetime of selfishness. So, they turned him away.
All right, so heaven's a no-go. Next stop, hell. But here's the kicker. The devil, probably still pretty mad about being tricked twice, actually honors his promise. A deal's a deal, right? He said he'd never take Jack's soul, and he didn't. Jack was cast out. There was literally nowhere left for him to go.
And that's where the story usually ends, right? You have this man who belongs nowhere. The devil, maybe feeling a tiny bit of pity, tosses him a single burning coal from the fires of hell. Jack puts it inside a turnip he was eating, and bam! He's cursed to wander in the dark between worlds forever. It's a classic ghost story, a warning about being too clever.
But this is where our story really begins. Because in that endless, lonely darkness, Jack didn't find despair. He found an opportunity.
He starts thinking, and he asks this absolutely radical question. Is being kicked out of every system, is that really a punishment? Or is it the ultimate form of freedom? Freedom from all rules, all masters, all expectations.
And this is the incredible and kind of terrifying realization he comes to in the void. For Jack, the whole cosmic setup, good, evil, heaven, hell, all of it, was what he called the language of slaves. And now, cast out into the abyss, that language had no power over him anymore. It was dead.
And you can really see this mental flip here. Just look at how he completely reframed his situation. What was supposed to be a lonely purgatory, he saw as infinite freedom. The aimless wandering became a cosmic tabula rasa, a completely blank slate where he could write his own destiny. And that barren soul? That wasn't a flaw anymore. It was raw, unfiltered potential. He literally took his own damnation and dismantled it piece by piece in his own mind.
Okay, so this new philosophy, this new way of seeing things, that was the foundation. But ideas are one thing. To really become something new, he had to make it real. He needed a catalyst, something to ignite that potential.
And he started with the very symbols of his curse. Remember that single burning coal from hell? For Jack, that wasn't a mark of damnation anymore. It became the first spark of self-ignition. And the turnip lantern? It wasn't just some pathetic little light. It became a powerful statement. In the total darkness of the void, a strong enough will, it creates its own light.
But the real game changer was what he found drifting in that abyss. It was the essence, the leftover light of a fallen seraph. This was an angel who had also said no to the system, who had rebelled against heaven and been, well, unmade for it. It was pure potential, an exile just like him. Now this is the most important part. What did Jack do when he found this incredible power? A normal person, a lesser soul, might have begged it for help, for redemption. Jack did none of that.
This wasn't a Faustian bargain where he trades his soul for power. No, this was the exact opposite. He didn't trade anything. He just reached out and consumed it. He seized that power to forge an entirely new soul, combining the angel's raw potential with his own unbreakable will.
And in that one act, in that moment of consumption, Stingy Jack was gone. He died. And something else, something entirely new, was born.
He became what the philosophy here calls a corrupted Übermensch. Now, if you know Nietzsche, the Übermensch is someone who goes beyond good and evil to create their own values. That's exactly what Jack did, but on a cosmic scale. He didn't become a god through prayer or a demon through sin. He became a higher being completely on his own terms, by shattering every single metaphysical chain that tried to hold him.
First thing he did, he got rid of the name Stingy. It was weak, a reminder of his pathetic mortal life. He shed it like old skin, and in its place he forged a new identity, claiming these incredible titles that just drip with power. Jack Sovereign, the Monstrum Unbound, the Lantern Wolf, the Fire that Refuses, the Predator of the Absolute.
And this really shows you the scale of his power now. That lantern he carries, it's not holding a simple piece of coal anymore. It now channels what's called pandemonium fire. And this flame, it doesn't just burn wood or flesh, it burns concepts. Think about that. It can literally erase the very ideas of morality, of consequence, of the cosmic laws that condemned him in the first place.
So, what does a being like this even do? A creature that refused to be a piece on the board and instead just flipped the whole table over.
Well, remember his eternal wandering? That curse became his greatest weapon. It transformed into the mastery of infinite movement. He wasn't lost between worlds anymore. He could now walk across all planes of existence like he owned them.
And with that power, he found a new purpose. That incredible, insatiable greed he had as a human, it didn't go away. It just expanded to a cosmic scale. Jack Sovereign is now a collector. Every single debt in the universe, whether it's karmic, mystical, divine, or infernal, it's all his to collect now. When you really think about it, Jack's story is this terrifying testament to the power of a single, focused will. It goes way beyond simple ideas of good versus evil. It makes you ask a much bigger, much more unsettling question. What happens to reality itself when one soul refuses to play the game and has the absolute will to become the master?